Hello, good morning. How are you today? This is your video key for Geometry Exit Ticket number 30.1, and here we go. So our first question involves B, D, and F. Here we got to get some square roots. So for B, we're going to have x squared equals 144, and to solve that, we want to get the square root of both sides. Okay. And so the square root of this. Okay, and so the square root of x squared is just x, and the square root of 144 is plus or minus 12. That one's easy peasy. All right, D, we've got, I'm going to copy this structure because it'll be useful to me. Okay, we got the square root, we got x squared equals 1/4, so that's mean we need to get the square root of both sides. Okay. And the square root of 1/4 is going to be 1/2. That's the square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 4 is 2. So it becomes plus or minus 1/2. Okay. And just as a reminder, 1/2 times 1/2 would equal 1/4. Okay, just to remind you of that. Okay, and then let's take a look at F. Okay, and with F, we're getting the square root of 18 here. So we get x squared equals 18. So we need to get the square root of both sides. The square root of 18 is going to equal the square root of 9 times 2. We split that up into its parts. So that becomes 9, square root of 9 we can get. Square root of 2 we're going to leave inside to get the exact version. So it's going to be square root of 9 is plus or minus 3, and then square root of 2. And we are done with that. All right, this next couple questions deal with some new concepts that are coming up. So what I want you to do is look at this right triangle. This right triangle has an altitude dropped from the vertex C down here to a point we're calling D. So that's a right angle, and angle ACB is a right angle. But what I want to know is which angle is congruent to angle DCB. Okay, so let's look at that. So this is DCB. Okay, which angle is congruent to it? Well, since this is a right angle down here, we can note that this is also a right angle. Okay, and this angle here, DCA, is the other part of a right angle here. So it's complementary to angle DCB. So I'm going to make it a different angle here. And this is actually going to answer both 4B and 4C for us. So if this angle is complementary to this one, then this angle is complementary to this one also because this is a right triangle. But if I have two angles that are complementary to the same angle, then they are congruent to each other. So angle A, oops, I messed that up a little bit. Hang on, let me fix that. Let me redo that. So angle A is complementary to angle ACD, which in turn is complementary to angle DCB. And if that's the case, then angle A is congruent to angle DCB. So angle A is congruent to angle DCB because it is complementary. So because they are both complementary to the same angle. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. The next question asks, which angle is congruent to DCA? DCA, well, so we've just worked out that DCA is complementary to angle DCB. And, well, there's a couple ways we can work out which angle B is congruent to. Well, angle B is going to be complementary to angle A. And angle DCA is complementary to angle A as well. And so therefore, angle B has to be congruent to angle DCA because it is complementary to an angle that is also complementary to DCA. So there we go. We have, and what's really neat about this is this sets up some similar triangles. So this triangle has 3 congruent angles to this triangle. So those smaller triangles are congruent to each other. But in addition, the big triangle ABC has this angle and a right angle as well. So it is also has the same angles as these 2 smaller triangles. So if triangles have all the same angles, then they are similar. And that means that there's proportions hidden within them. So DCA, so angle DCA is congruent to angle B because they are both complementary to the same angle. And we're done. And that will set up something called the altitude on hypotenuse theorem, and I hope that was helpful.